Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're taking a look at Kadena, seeing what's going on. It's been a little while since I'd covered this one, but I did want to go ahead and review it because I had a community member request that I cover this, and I just want to kind of get you, obviously what you're looking for. I like to make sure to honor your request, so I appreciate you requesting this. Furthermore, too, if you are new to the channel, just know I'm not a financial advisor. I do love teaching people to trade. I love teaching people to trade, of course, so that's why I created a trading academy, community, and signal group. So be sure to check that out. CryptoCash.tech is a website. Link in the description below where you can register to become a community member. More importantly, you can become a member with trading signals as a benefit. I provide you with all the trade signals that I take. And of course, minus the signal group, I have a trading academy too to teach you to become a better trader. So again, a one-stop shop for everything cryptocurrency, pretty awesome situation. Be sure to check that out. There's a lot of different features in the website. All right, so taking a look, of course, one last thing at Bitget. Just want to kind of preface and touch on this here. Recent affiliation with them, fantastic company to work with, but more importantly, just a great exchange. If you are in the US, or just perhaps another country that requires a VPN to connect to ByBit, you no longer have to do that because Bitget has you covered. There's no VPN requirement. Really nice to be able to have that here in the United States. So again, they work in other countries as well, just a nice benefit here in the US. And of course, there's a nice little signing bonus too, as long as you decide you want to trade with them moving forward. So make sure you make it your primary exchange and obviously trade with some volume and you'll get those results there. I was able to receive a pretty large bonus here recently. Awesome experience. Again, so taking a look here at Kadena, what's going on here is pretty straightforward. We're stuck underneath key level resistance, and I just drew this line out, of course, from previous. You can see this was a resistance level in the past, and of course, should work again as a resistance level moving forward until, of course, we break above. As you can see, it tried to break above, it couldn't, and that is essentially just something you want to make sure to note. Taking a look, of course, at the Fibonacci retracement levels, we can see we're kind of averaging ourselves down near the bottom. This is pretty standard stuff in most cases for the price action to kind of maintain itself at that level. Now, this is just a big picture overview. So what we want to do is take a look at the RSI and kind of see, well, we're underneath 50, but over 30. All right, so still bearish in the overall sense of things. We haven't broken through that little level yet, but the key takeaway here is the fact that it's just kind of averaging itself out in the bearish territory. Now, it makes sense considering what's happened in the overall circumstances. Now, what's nice, though, is the correction from yesterday, even though it was, I guess you could say, large from Bitcoin, wasn't significantly as large on Kadena, and that's a positive sign, too. Kind of gives us that correlation there that, maybe it's not responding exactly the same as Bitcoin is, right? So we take a look at Kadena and Bitcoin, the comparison, they're definitely a lot different. So I like to kind of see if some coins will be kind of marching to the beat of their own drum or if they're specifically relying on Bitcoin's success. It looks like there's a slight separation there, and that's a positive sign. But for the most part, no need to sugarcoat it. There's good and bad here in this sense. In other words, if we were to take a look at the moving averages, I'm kind of curious about this. We're right at the 20 and we're below the 50. So the 50-day set moving average is commonly a resistance level that you want to work within. In other words, when the price action breaks above that, that's usually a case in point where you want to consider a long position, right? It doesn't always work out that way, but that's the general concept. So that being said, we're below that level. So therefore, we can see a resistance level forming somewhere in the range of about $1.77. Okay, so that is something to recognize and understand. When it comes to the RSI and the MACD, they're kind of counteracting each other. We have a nice strong MACD convergence here, but we've also got an RSI being rejected at 50. So it tells us that 164 is probably a key level resistance as well. Right there at that area, if the price were to come back up there and get rejected, it would make sense because it's, of course, getting rejected off 50 in the RSI. That's a common place to pay attention to. So again, the macro doesn't look fantastic, but it doesn't look terrible either, if that makes any sense. Because you can see here, this little inclination is looking much better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going sideways and down a little bit, whereas Kadena is coming up, recovering nicely. So again, that correlation there, or lack thereof, is nice. It's a benefit, but we got to recognize too that we're still coming up against these resistance levels. So until we break out above the 50 on the RSI, on just say the daily or the 4-hour, we're still going to be in this kind of situation. I'd prefer to wait to take a trade until we cross 164, just to be on the safe side. But again, depends on where you're at in your trading journey. And those are all things that I help you understand in my trading academy. Be sure to check that out. But generally speaking, for my current community members, be sure to check out those videos and watch those videos again on the website. Just make sure you kind of reacclimate yourself. I've had some members that are graduates and they've watched those videos multiple times over, and it's very, very helpful to continue to kind of get let it sink in, so to speak, because the first time may not be the most appropriate. But here's the thing with the MACD. We're starting to see it's not a convergence by any stretch. We're not there yet. We need to get, we need a few more hours before we can get there. But the positivity here is higher in that sense, where this is, the oscillators are starting to dissipate, and so is the curvature here. So again, mostly positive stuff there on that. I would say the 4-hour looks more beneficial than the daily, based on the simple fact that this is a transitionary time frame. So if Kadena can keep this up and Bitcoin doesn't have any massive corrections, we should be in good shape to see Kadena continue to increase. Again, just kind of something to think about. Take a look at the 1 hour though. This is one thing I'm mostly curious about. TD sequential isn't really hitting any 9s. We did hit 1.9 previously, but it wasn't significant. In other words, when Kadena goes on these little runs, it's kind of hitting resets and getting a lot of little corrections, you could say, which is inconsistent in one sense, but also okay in another. In other words, basically right now, based on that sentiment, we still have a good 5 to 6 hours of continuation to the upside. There's potential there. The thing we also need to recognize too is that we are still below the cloud, so long position isn't super viable. As you can see, coincidentally, right there at the Fibonacci retracement level is the upper lead for the actual Ichimoku cloud. That is a positive thing here. In other words, when the price action comes up and breaks above, that's a case in point where you want to consider taking a position. Okay. Again, we want confirmation, so don't just take the price action coming up above. Let it stay there for 2 or 3 more hours, and then you get that confirmation you're looking for. Okay. So again, a long position wouldn't be ideal until 164. That's my personal opinion. That's what I would wait for. Even though you could get in right here and ride it all the way up if it comes up, but there's no guarantees it's going to come up. The one thing that we do see that's positive here, though, is the lagging span is intersecting with the price action, kind of basically telling us a short position should be closed. Conversion line is back up above the baseline, too, also implying that the momentum has shifted from bearish to bullish on the short-term time frame. So those are mostly good things. Those are transitionary benefits that you want to look for to see. So hypothetically, you could take a position now upwards to 164. But again, if you want full-on confirmation, wait for the cloud or to be back up above the cloud, because that is literally something that is extremely important to have when you're using a conservative indicator like this. I'm a conservative trader myself too. I like to take trades based on, for the most part, confirmation, and to make sure that we're on the same, on the right side of the tracks. We're almost there, but we're still underneath some key level resistances. There's still a great chance the price action will come up here and get rejected by the cloud and or this resistance level, as well as 50 on the RSI, which is just a little bit higher. Again, that's on the daily, but again, something to be mindful of. So all in all, I like what I see here with Kadena. It looks stronger than most coins, at least the average coin right now, contrary to Bitcoin. And it's all in all performing the way that it should right now. So good stuff there. I would just wait for confirmation personally. 164 or higher, closure today above 164 or even tomorrow would give us that green light. Those are things you want to try to wait for and be patient with. Again, patience can be difficult, but it's something you can work on, and I teach that in my trading academy as well. So once again, cryptocash.tech is a website. Feel free to check that out and hopefully become a better trader. Also, be sure to check out Bitget. Really awesome opportunity there. Fantastic exchange, my favorite by all means right now. Much better than ByBit, and I used to be like a ByBit fanatic. So if that gives you any idea, it's definitely much better. So recommend a transition and of course the bonus that comes with it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me here. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.